A flicker of old film reveals a 1950s woman leaning toward her vanity, lips painted in a deep, confident red, her reflection soft and untouched. Then suddenly it cuts to 2025. Ring lights blaze, contour brushes swipe, filters smooth every pore as faces become pixels of perfection. The contrast is jarring, almost painful. What once felt effortless now feels engineered. Viewers can sense the shift, the quiet grace of vintage femininity replaced by algorithmic precision. The voice breaks through the montage, from timeless elegance to digital illusions. What happened to real beauty? That question hangs in the air like a challenge, a confession, and an invitation to look closer at how the pursuit of perfection stole something deeply human. The 1950s were an era where beauty felt timeless, graceful, and effortlessly human, shaped by icons like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, and Grace Kelly, who defined femininity through simplicity rather than excess. Red lips symbolized confidence, soft curls framed gentle expressions, and the subtle wing of eyeliner carried more allure than layers of contour ever could. Women celebrated their natural shapes. Curves weren't hidden, they were highlighted with style and pride. Beauty was an art of elegance, not competition. It lived in posture, in poise, in the quiet ritual of getting ready rather than the performance of showing off. The mirror was a private companion, not a camera lens for the world's approval, and the charm of imperfection was still considered beautiful, because back then, the idea of flawless hadn't yet been manufactured. Real beauty in the 1950s wasn't about chasing trends or impressing an audience. It was about presence, grace, and authenticity that radiated from within. It lived in the small gestures, the way a woman carried herself, the softness in her smile, the quiet confidence that didn't need validation. Makeup wasn't a mask, but an enhancement of what was already there, a ritual of self-expression rather than transformation. Beauty was tied to character, kindness, and the ability to leave an impression without shouting for attention. It reflected personality, emotion, and individuality, not a uniform standard or digital ideal. Real beauty then was human, flawed, warm, alive, and its power came from being genuine in a world that still valued sincerity over spectacle. The shift to 2025 marked the moment beauty stopped being personal and became programmable. The digital world swallowed the mirror, replacing reflection with filters, algorithms, and the constant gaze of an audience. Beauty transformed into content. Every look, every pose, every product designed not for self-expression, but for engagement. Trends move at the speed of swipes, and faces begin to blur into one flawless, AI-polished standard. The art of makeup turned into a digital performance where ring lights replaced sunlight and validation came in hearts and views. What was once an intimate act of feeling beautiful became a public competition for attention. The elegance of the 1950s evolved into precision, perfection, and pixels, a beauty defined not by individuality but by algorithms deciding what's worth being seen. The new pressure of beauty in 2025 isn't just about looking good, it's about surviving in a world where the algorithm decides your worth. Every filter, every trending look, every perfect face on a screen silently tells you that natural isn't enough. The brain starts chasing digital validation the way it once craved genuine connection, releasing tiny bursts of dopamine with every like, trapping people in cycles of comparison and self-doubt. Beauty becomes measurable, ranked by engagement, and authenticity begins to feel risky. The line between identity and image blurs as people subconsciously reshape themselves to fit what the feed rewards. It's not vanity. It's psychology engineered by pixels, teaching us to edit our flaws instead of accept them, to please an invisible audience rather than ourselves. Until perfection feels like survival and reality feels like failure. There came a quiet moment when real faces began to fade, not all at once, but slowly, hidden beneath filters, edits, and curated perfection. Skin became smoother, eyes larger, lips fuller, and the raw texture of humanity disappeared behind screens that promised flawlessness. People stopped recognizing themselves without enhancements, mistaking filters for mirrors. The more technology improved, the less reality felt acceptable. Authenticity was replaced by algorithmic beauty, faces that all looked eerily similar, sculpted by trends instead of truth. Even emotions started to feel rehearsed, posed for the camera rather than lived in the moment. Somewhere in that digital glow, the individuality that once defined beauty was erased. And the world began to prefer illusions over imperfection, forgetting that what makes a face truly beautiful is its honesty, not its symmetry. Amid the noise of flawless faces and curated perfection, a quiet rebellion began. People started showing up as themselves again. No filters, no heavy edits, just raw, unpolished reality. The movement wasn't loud or dramatic. It spread softly through freckles proudly shown, wrinkles embraced, and real skin captured in honest light. It became an act of courage to be authentic, to post a photo that wasn't corrected by technology. This return to real beauty wasn't about rejecting makeup or trends, but about reclaiming control from the algorithm, reminding the world that imperfection is where soul lives. Every bare face, every unfiltered moment became a small revolution, a declaration that beauty doesn't need to be fixed. It just needs to be seen. When we strip away the filters, the products, and the pressure, beauty reveals itself as something far deeper than appearance. It becomes a reflection of truth, emotion, and individuality. It's the glow that comes from comfort in one's own skin, the quiet confidence in knowing who you are, the connection between inner peace and outer expression. True beauty has never belonged to a decade or a trend. It lives in authenticity, in the courage to be seen without pretending. The 1950s celebrated grace, 2025 celebrates precision, but both point toward the same longing, to be valued, noticed, and loved for something real. Maybe beauty was never lost, only forgotten beneath layers of expectation, waiting patiently for us to remember that being genuine has always been the most breathtaking form of glamour. If this story made you pause, even for a second, maybe it's time to look at your own reflection a little differently, not through the camera, but through your eyes. Ask yourself when you last felt beautiful without posting it, without checking who approved. Real beauty begins the moment you stop editing your truth and start embracing it. So let this be your reminder and your challenge. Show your real face, share your unfiltered self, and let the world see the kind of beauty that can't be manufactured. Comment what beauty means to you, post your most authentic photo, and be part of the quiet revolution bringing honesty back into the mirror. As the final images fade, the screen softens to a gentle glow. A real smile, untouched and sincere, lingers for a moment before everything goes quiet. The world feels still, almost as if it's remembering something it lost along the way. No filters, no perfection, just a human face and the warmth of truth behind it. The music slows, and a single thought lingers in the air. Real beauty never vanished. It was only waiting for us to look past the pixels and see it again. The frame fades to black, leaving behind not an image but a feeling. A quiet ache for authenticity and the hope that maybe, finally, we're ready to find it.